Oh, hey, good morning, friends. Got you here in Costa Rica. Oh, my God is an awesome God. I tell you what, I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for so many reasons, which you're about to get a dose of. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to you, because if you're watching this, you've likely been one of the people who has sent prayers and thoughts over the last few months. And has been connected to the journey somehow in healing my foot and soaking up all of God's lessons. And I just want to say thank you. I mean, I recognize how much grace and compassion and support I have received and been humbled by from the community. And I'm just really, really grateful to everybody who reached out and offered support and offered suggestions and just showed up. And to stay on the gratitude train first, I mean, my husband has been absolutely amazing on all fronts, and kiddos and my brother and my sister in the practice, the lighthouse team in showing up and rolling with it. So to go backwards, and then I'm going to come back to those thank yous and those fabulous people. To give some context, in October of 2024, I went for a run. Girl was coming on, she didn't see me. I got over to the side of the road, rolled my ankle. Right away I knew something was not right. And so we went through imaging, and there was a bone fragment kind of hiding on the imaging. So it took us a lot longer to figure out what was going on, and tried a number of conservative things and rest and getting off of it. And it wasn't till February of this year that we went in. I had the surgery where they pulled out a bone fragment about the size of a fingernail. And I just assumed that was going to be it, you know? When you have an injury in a lower extremity that you walk on every day, it's not the only joint that takes the change, the adaptation, the beating, because it changed the way that I walked. So one problem became two problems, became three. So I started to experience knee pain and hip pain, and I mean, it really distorts everything, right? And the pain has been difficult even to describe, and not like anything I've ever experienced. It's definitely a bone pain. It'll wake me up at night, and it's deep ache, or was, and it's getting significantly better and less, and it's still there, right? And so in this surrender process that I'm going to open up all these things that I've tried, you know, the questions, because perspective matters, right? Whatever I think is going on in this creates my experience. And so if I'm, super impatient and I just want the pain to go away, versus curious and saying, okay, if the pain is still here, what else can I learn from this? And I think that's a testament to my village and to my training. And it's part of what makes the way I view the world and serve humanity very, very different, in that, like, it has never been about numbing the pain, but more listening into it. And, one of my friends and colleagues, Dr. Melissa Sell, I did a call with her in August of this year. And she's like, lay it out. What's going on? She is a German new medicine practitioner. She's like, how'd we get here? And I'm telling her the story. I'm going through the different things. And, she reminds me, we know that healthy tissue heals within 4 to 6 weeks. And if it's not healing, why? Right? Like, what's going on? And that means that there's still a lesson in it. And so she was speaking back to me what I'll say to a lot of people. And the reason I share that is because I don't know what you're going through, but I know pain is inevitable for all of us, right? We are all going to go through something, or lots of little somethings. And some of you have been in healing journey for decades. And maybe the one thing you haven't tried is curiosity, and maybe letting go of some of the tension and going, okay, if my body has limitless potential and knows how to heal, and it has this immaculate divine design, but we're not getting there, what else is here? What if there's purpose in this pain? What if this is, a portal? Like Rumi says, the wound is where the light pours in. And so I hope that you have a village like I have that's like, hey, maybe God's telling you to slow down. Maybe you really need to look at what's going on here. And they weren't trying to give me solutions to make the pain go away, right? Yes, they're trying to help me feel better. Yes, they're showing up for me because they want me to heal. Right, they also want me to get the lesson now so that I don't just numb it or push through it and push it to the side. And then it comes back bigger, louder, harder to navigate later. And so I say a prayer on the front side of this for you. If you're in pain and you haven't tried that route, I'm going to put links for look at a call with somebody way outside the box. And, if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you always got. And so maybe a fresh perspective is the adjustment that you need. So, going back to gratitude, Joey's been amazing. My kids have been amazing. And during this time, right, this is the butterfly effect where I do know there's purpose, and had like one thing not happened, a whole cascade of things had not happened. So my brother came into the practice last year. This foot injury allowed for me to move to the side, and my sister and sister-in-law to come into service and be a part of the team this year. And had it not happened, that wouldn't have happened. And so there's been massive growth, and we've learned a lot, and they've shown up really big in the practice. It's made, I think, us as individuals a lot stronger. It's shown us a lot, there's been a ripple effect, I guess. And so I'm so grateful for the way that they have allowed me the space to slow down, because I know that a lot of people have jobs and they have lives that they can't sit down. And the way that my team showed up and said, like, why don't you get off of it? And again, in the fall here, when I was looking at another surgery or more time completely out of practice, everybody was just like, you got to do what you got to do. Like, we need you whole, we need you healthy. And so I'm so grateful to my core family and team, and then patients, right? All of you were praying. And I think village is the number one thing that we need to look at when we are going through healing and really through life. So I believe that I'm in this as being, somewhat of a conduit. And so I'm going to list like different questions, and I would just ask you, like, who's in your village? Who do you turn to? And do they speak life into you? Do they speak fear into you? Do they speak hope into you, faith into you? Or do they, because proximity is power. And and usually out of really good intentions and just who we naturally gravitate towards, they feed the narratives that serve us, but also the ones that don't. And so sometimes the number one thing you can do to heal is shift your village and add a few people in there that look at the situation wildly different. So I'm going to try and work it backwards, because there's just, man, that I've tried a lot of things. I am in Costa Rica right now for a retreat, and I would say rest and peace has been so life-giving in receiving a stillness. And I just kind of feel like I kept hearing God say, just put it all down. Just get still for a second, to handle the, what I noticed about my life was I'm so fast-paced and so busy and on the go that when I needed a moment to rest and recuperate, I wasn't giving it to myself. And that's not advice that I would give to anybody else. And I kept trying to hurry, even in different times when I was like, oh, I stayed off of it. You can ask Joey or my family. It's like, you were limping all over that. You were not off of your foot. Like, I realized that there is a spin cycle in my nervous system that repels rest. And that's problematic, so I've been able to tune that. I came here to do breath work. Breath work has been massive for the healing process. And so I'm going to drop some links to different breath practices. I'm also here to do stem cell treatments at a regenerative medicine facility. And I got an IV a couple days ago, and I'll get an injection directly into the foot tomorrow. So I'll report back as I, got that referral from very close friends to come try the stem cells. I was set to have another surgery at the beginning of September, and I, instead of that, because first one was in February, we know we got something out of there. I know that there was some reprieve, but it didn't, and no one can really tell me what's wrong, right? Like I read the images with everybody. I've seen multiple different practitioners, and the plan for surgery was to just kind of explore and see what's in there and make some, and it just didn't feel right. And something I said to a friend who texted me a few days before I was set to have surgery in September, she was like, "You feel heavy to me. What can I pray for?" And I just said, like I don't feel like I'm supposed to do this surgery. I know I'm not healed yet. I know there's something there. And I just burst into tears. I was at the YMCA getting ready to work out. And I was like, but it doesn't feel like it's in alignment with my truth. I feel like they see a body, they see these mechanisms, but there's more to it. And doing an exploratory surgery that is going to cause more scar tissue and may or may not have a solution. Like, have I exhausted everything else? And she's like, man, it really sounds like God's already told you. And I remember sitting there at the YMCA, and she's going in to pray for me, and a guy walks by with a tattoo on his leg that said, "It's all in your head." And I just started laughing. And I turned to my own faith, and I turned to prayer and said, okay, I literally canceled surgery that day. I said, all right, where do you want me to go? And in place of that surgery, I'm doing stem cells here. I went to a 7-day Joe Dispenza meditation retreat. And if you're not familiar with his work, check out You Are the Placebo, Becoming Supernatural, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Again, links, guys, for all this. If you want a total reset, body, mind, and soul. And I mean, there were people there with cancer, autoimmune, in wheelchairs. There were children with autism. There were, war vets there with severe PTSD. And his science and his results, it's mind-bogglingly amazing. And for 7 days, 3 times a day, I was meditating and listening to him share the science and the stats, and meditating for at least an hour and a half in each of those sessions. One of the sessions was 5 hours long, and if you would have told me that I could do that or would do that, I probably would have laughed at you, because I didn't sit still. And in that stillness, oh my gosh, the places that I was able to access. And they didn't give us an itinerary, which was part of the medicine, because it was all about breaking the pattern. It was all about breaking the pattern, and it helped me do that. And not only did my foot feel a lot better post the retreat, but it's like, where did this spin cycle, where did this hurry, where did this, like, I gotta keep going, this scurry, where did it come from? And what other problems is that going to cause for me if I don't adjust that now? I literally came back from that seminar different. So I highly recommend Dr. Joe's work, and taking a look at that. A friend of mine in this time brought me a portable PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic field frequency healing. And so I put it directly on my foot. I've been using that. Same friend brought me castor oil and DMSO to put onto my foot. You're going to see a whole write-up on each of these things. And I know it's all helping, not just in the thing, but in being tended, in receiving the love and care from these friends. So Danielle, shout out to you. Been a massive part of my healing and journey here. I use red light therapy. I have done cryotherapy. I use LifeWave patches, and I'm going to link those as well, because those I've used from the get-go, and I see a number of different benefits from their patches. I wear them every day, and just a big fan there. The DMSO and the castor oil, when you look at, if there's a consistent inflammatory response, right? At the heart of dis-ease is inflammation and stress, right? So there's a reason that my body is still in stress a year later. The body knows how to heal this. So what's going on? And I just keep listening into it, and I look for ways to ease that inflammation, to ease that pain. And each of these things has helped. I have also done softwave, so shout out to Dr. Johnny Dold and his amazing wife and office manager, Taryn. Went in for a number of softwave treatments, big fan of that therapy. So, I mean, a lot of these at its core are technologies that are coming out to help reduce inflammation, boost stem cell and cellular level healing. And I mean, again, for all these people who've just leaned in and said, hey, I've got this thing, why don't you come try it? Softwave was one that very early on I know made a huge difference, and it would get really inflamed when I did it, but then a few days later, gosh, it would feel so much better. So I'm really, really grateful for learning more about softwave, and considering even as a practitioner, right? Each time I do these PEMF and the biomats and the red lights and the soft waves, it's like, I plan to. I'm going to be moving spaces, which I'll go back to at the end of this video. Next year, I will open a new practice. And as an extension of the Lighthouse, which is my chiropractic office, eventually I will have a powerhouse, which will be a lot of these modalities where people can plug in, because we know that we live in a toxic world. We know that we're human and stress is a part of our human experience. And so I do believe this is butterfly effect. Part of why I went through this was to try all of these things and to bring them into healing where people can learn about them and choose them for themselves. So I'm really, really grateful for the pain, because otherwise I would have never slowed down long enough to try these. And I already see the ripple effect when I do bring this into the practice and coordinating, options for people to try. We talked about PEMF and softwave and red light. Vibroacoustic beds and binaural beats has been another, so sound therapy. And I've done this in 3 different ways. The harmonic egg, the life vessel. Again, you can look for all the links, but these 3 are very similar. And so we go to the autonomic nervous system, right? We have 2 gears in our nervous system. We have sympathetic and we have autonomic. And when we are in sympathetic, it's fight, it's flight, it's freeze, and is generally not the place we are healing from, right? That is cortisol response. That is reactionary. That is there to get out of trouble, get out of danger. That is there when we're triggered. And but when we're in that gas pedal, like overdrive, we're not healing very well. And so we want any way that we can return to a more harmonious balance between sympathetic and autonomic. You can look at heart coherence, heart math, HRV technologies. I mean, this is kind of everywhere now, right? More and more people are having this conversation, because we see that when we help the system return to harmony, to equilibrium, then we can heal from there. But if the system is in stress at a cellular level, like my body's not going to take me into healing. This takes us out of a mechanistic, like I have an ankle problem, and goes into holistic, where I am a whole human, body, mind, and soul. And it's the difference. You'll hear conversations today about germ theory and terrain theory. Do we work it from this, from the weeds, right, of this one problem, or do we work it from the ego view of let's treat this whole system, this whole human, this whole spirit? And in doing that, in restoring this tone of ease, so if sympathetic is the gas, then autonomic is the brake. And when we go into this rest and digest and repair phase, that's going to help everything, right? And so I know that at the core, if I'm really, really honest with myself, over the last few years, even leading up to this, I've had different issues with my ovaries, with my kidneys, with inflammation, and issues in my pelvis and my back, and I know it's all connected, right? And so if God is giving me a pause, it's probably not just about my foot, right? Energetically, my foot, this is all about the way I'm walking through life. This is all about my next steps forward. And so if you go playfully and with curiosity and say, okay, what's this? And what do I need to learn? that's going to serve me in this next chapter. It's just amazing. And the harmonic egg, the life vessel, and the vibroacoustic binaural beats have been, man, they've been up there with anything else I've done. And it is, this whole chapter to me has been about tuning in and stillness and allowing healing to happen instead of doing healing, right? And so these spaces use color therapy. They use infrared sauna. So the life vessel is infrared, sound, and light therapy. And then the harmonic egg is color, light, sound, vibrational therapy. And then vibroacoustic is a bed, using heat, vibration, and then wearing headphones and listening to different sounds. So all similar, all different ways to do the same thing, which is bring you back to that place. And every time I do one of these, I leave completely different. Whatever I was in, it kind of tones me down, and it's just brought me so much peace and calm just in general, which inevitably brings more clarity, more ease, just overall, energy, and I sleep a lot better. So can't recommend those enough. I've seen a number of chiropractors, so shout out to my chiropractors. I've seen a number of acupuncture, kinesiology, and I will say that to the practitioners, like, you find out a lot about your truth when you're going through the thing that you usually take care of people with. Because, like, do you live the truth that you preach? Do you go where, and this has been the ultimate education, and certification for chiropractic and kinesiology and acupuncture, because I've gotten to be on the receiving side and watch these practitioners work, and watching and receiving that gift, and it has me more fired up than ever to return to that and to share that with my community, because I do believe, and those, why this has been the path for me. At the core, chiropractic is the power that made the body heals the body from above down, inside out. My core philosophies, principles, it's not just the adjustment, it's also the truth, the big idea that comes with it. And this has been an opportunity to really fall madly in love with that all over again. I've read a ton of books. Pilates and changing up my workouts has been massive. I didn't give it up. I can't run. I gotta watch. I can't do a lot of lower body things that it's not time yet. I get a strong no when I do some things. So I've had to really innovate the way that I find movement, and just stay on gear. As I'm sweating, I acknowledge that infrared sauna, different detox, Epsom salts, magnesium, essential oils, different things that help the body detox and purge. Again, I believe now more than ever, but at a core, health and healing is all about getting bad stuff out and putting good stuff in, right? That's it. It's that simple, and it can be that hard, right? So it's not any one thing. It's the combination of these things that not only keeps me on this path to healing and feeling better, but guys, gosh dang, I feel stronger and more in alignment and closer to God and more in my faith and happier and healthier and just more alive. Gosh, I feel so much more alive, not because of this one thing that was about my foot. And so I've had these conversations with multiple friends who have cancer. We get so hyper focused on the thing, right? The back pain, the foot pain, the digestive issues, the cancer, the autoimmune, whatever it is. We get so hyper focused on the thing, and that's the mechanistic. But when we switch over and we go holistic and we just go, I want to just heal myself, this body temple, this mind, this heart, this spirit. The payoffs are exponential. I mean, it's multiplication. So I would say those are the main takeaways, right? Is that number one, tune in and listen, because nobody knows you like you know you. And you really got to feel it. So lean into the pain instead of running away from it. Two, connect with your faith. And I think that's the biggest perspective adjustment, and seeing it how God sees it, and looking that it might be a lesson, looking that it might be an upgrade, not something that you need to fix or make go away, but something that you will help you learn more about you and healing, and would then help your family and friends if you're brave enough to go through the hard. 3, it's the basics. It takes time. Healing takes time. There are limitations of matter. There's no rushing this, but it is diet, it is exercise, it is prayer, it is stillness, it is sleep, it is detoxing, like we talked about. The recipe for healing is the same no matter what we're going through. And it just takes time and consistency, and then a surrender, right? Can I be at peace even if I have this foot pain the rest of my life? And I think that's, here in Costa Rica, I've really just sat here, right? Remember, here I am. And the God that made all that made me. And if this is part of my calling, then even if that's the case, okay, I can walk with that. I can live with that. And surrender has profound medicine in it. And lastly, how can I turn this into service? How can I toss this back to someone? So I hope that someone out there has heard this and felt something, and it's been a light bulb moment for you. And if I can take this pain and serve anybody else out there, then it's all worth it. I'll end with just saying we've got a lot of big things coming up. So we're going to do a big idea. It'll be a smaller invitation to keep it really intimate, and we're going to immersive in the experiences. I mean, you are going to get to feel some of the things I've been talking about here. And there's a new space coming in 2026, like I talked about. And there will be, this is like one of the metamorphosis changes for the practice, because I'm a different person, the lighthouse will be a different practice. And the way that we serve my brother, sister, and myself in 2026 is going to look really, really different. And I do believe that God primed us to step into, gosh, the amount of times I've made like foot references over. It's like we are stepping into a new chapter, because not in a bad way, in a very deep and profoundly beautiful way. And it's going to be really expansive with new offerings and new communities. I have a few more books that I've been working on over these last few months. So you're going to see a couple more books in addition to the coloring books. And we talked about the powerhouse and bringing some of these things into a space where my lighthouse people can. And then going to have a few retreats and other offerings in 2026, because it has just ignited in me new passion and new power and new purpose, new understandings of my assignment and who I am, and what God would like me to do. And so again, like, man, like, if the pain is still there, right? The physical pain is there, but I can walk with it, because each time I feel it, it's like I can say thank you instead of I can turn to ease, and I can go into calm instead of waging war with this thing. And if that's the only gift, it will have been worth it. So I'm eager to get back into practice. I just wanted to give everybody an update on where things were at. I know that I forgot some of the things, and just, I hope that everybody who's poured into me and been a part of this healing just knows how much love I have for you. And check out those links and see what it has spoken to you through this. And just remember who you are. Remember that you are powerful beyond all measure. Remember that God is with you in every step, and that you are held and supported, and you're never alone. Remember that you can transcend anything, and that we are only here for a little while. We are eternal beings. And so anything you experience here is temporary. And a shift in perspective, a playful curiosity can make all the difference in the world. So lean in and feel your life, and make new choices. Break your patterns. Be audacious enough to believe that at any time you can become a new version. I love you so much. ...